This text from Blake Lively is insane. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play.
Imagine a Hollywood star so untouchable, so polished that no one dared question her shine until she opened her mouth and spilled a secret that's tearing her world apart. Blake Lively, the queen of charm and red carpet slayage, just got caught in a storm she can't PR her way out of. A resurfaced 2022 interview has her bragging about tricking directors and hijacking movies, and now it's blowing up in her face faster than a wildfire in Tinsel Town. This isn't just gossip, it's a full-on expose of a woman who thought she could play the game forever. Stick around because this tea is scorching and the fallout's only getting wilder. Back in 2022, Blake Lively strutted onto the Forbes Power Women Summit stage, all confidence and couture, basking in the glow of a room full of industry bigwigs.
It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating?
She was there to talk empowerment, her hair flipping like a shampoo ad, and the crowd was eating it up. Until she dropped a bombshell no one saw coming. Grinning like she was spilling tea with girlfriends, she straight up admitted she lies to directors, playing the sweet ingenue in auditions while secretly plotting to hijack their movies. "I wouldn't reveal that I need authorship to feel fulfilled," she said. Her tone so breezy you'd think she was ordering a latte, not confessing to a career-long con. It was a jaw-dropping moment, but back then the audience just nodded along. Dazzled by her charm, nobody clocked the depth of what she just laid bare. She didn't stop there though. Blake leaned into it, describing her strategy with a glee that's chilling in hindsight. She called it a rug pull, smiling her way into the gig, all wide eyes and perfect teeth, only to flip the script once the ink dried on her contract. She'd start small, tweaking a line here, suggesting a costume there, then bam, she's rewriting entire scenes and barking orders like she's the one holding the megaphone.
Like, is that a joke?
Yeah.
I was blown away reading it. I really was blown away and honestly weirded out.
Some directors lapped it up, thrilled to have a star so invested. Others, they hated her guts, fuming as she steamrolled their vision. "We just hired you to act," she mimicked them saying, laughing it off like their frustration was a cute quirk. It's wild to think she laid this all out so casually, as if it was just another day at the office for Hollywood's golden girl. Here's the real kicker. Blake didn't even flinch as she spilled this. She sat there, poised and untouchable, like no one would ever dare hold it against her. The Forbes crowd clapped, the moderator moved on, and the moment faded, buried under her polished PR image as the activist sweetheart who could do no wrong. She'd spent years crafting that vibe, all while pulling these stunts behind the scenes. And for a while, it worked. No one dug deeper, no one cared. She probably figured it'd stay that way forever. Her little secret tucked safe behind that megawatt smile. But fast forward to 2024 and that clip's back with a vengeance. Unearthed like a time capsule of her own undoing. Now is a viral grenade blowing up across X and TikTok faster than you can say cancel. People are rewatching it, jaws on the floor, as her words hit different in the wake of her feud with Justin Baldoni. Did she just admit that? Users post stunned, while others splice it with dramatic music, turning her confession into a cinematic villain reveal. That nice girl mask she's worn for decades? Shredded. Fans who once stanned her are side-eyeing every move she's ever made, and critics are cackling at how she handed her enemies the playbook to take her down. It's not just a soundbite anymore, it's a smoking gun, and the internet's got it on repeat. What she thought was a flex in 2022 has morphed into a nightmare she can't outrun, proving the past always catches up, especially when you brag about it on camera. The fallout's brutal, and it's only starting. That clip's not just a meme, it's evidence, fuel for lawsuits and gossip that's tearing through Hollywood like wildfire. Blake's team must have thought they could spin it, bury it under more conscious queen headlines, but the damage is done.
All right, you guys, it is Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni Day. Finally. I've been teasing that all week, and let me just say to all of the women.
Every word she said back then matches the accusations piling up now, and people aren't letting it slide. It's like she built her own trap, stepped in with a smirk, and didn't notice the lock clicking shut until it was too late. One thing's clear, this confession's no longer a forgotten brag. It's the spark that's lighting her carefully curated world on fire. Enter Justin Baldoni, the guy who finally said enough. He was a director and star of It Ends With Us, a passion project he nourished from book to screen. But Blake, she didn't just star in it, she took it over. Justin's lawsuit, dropped in December 2024, paints a grim picture. Blake rewrote scenes, fired composers, and sidelined him so hard, he didn't even see the final cut. He's got texts, witnesses, the works. Proof she turned his dream into her playground. For months, Blake played the victim, filing her own suit claiming Justin harassed her on set. Everyone bought it. Colleen Hoover, the cast, even Ryan Reynolds unfollowed him. But that 2022 interview flipped the script. Suddenly, Justin's not the villain. He's the guy who caught Hollywood's Golden Girl red-handed. And what happened next would shock everyone. This isn't Blake's first rodeo. Far from it. Dig into her past, and the whispers turn into a deafening roar of red flags. Take Gossip Girl, the teen drama that launched her into the stratosphere. Behind the scenes, it was a war zone, and Blake was allegedly the puppet master pulling strings. Penn Badgley and Leighton Meester, her co-stars, reportedly couldn't stand her guts. She'd freeze them out with icy glares, rewrite scenes to hog the spotlight, and turn their days into a living hell just because she could. Insiders from back then whisper she'd saunter onto set, all charm and giggles for the cameras, then flip a switch, demanding script tweaks that made her Serena Vanderwoodson the undeniable star. Penn once hinted in a 2013 interview about tensions on set.
Now you see text messages in this lawsuit from Blake Lively comparing herself to the heroine of Game of Thrones.
And fans swear Leighton's tight-lipped shade years later, like a cryptic "not everyone's who they seem" tweet was aimed straight at Blake. It didn't stop there. Fans on X are dredging up old stories, piecing together a pattern that's as ugly as it is juicy. They say she'd smirk while stepping on toes, treating co-stars like props in her personal spotlight, like it was all a twisted game she'd rigged from the start. Smaller projects tell a similar tale. On the Town, crew rumors swirl that she clashed with Ben Affleck, pushing for more screen time until he shut it down. The Shallows, a stunt coordinator allegedly quit after Blake meddled with action beats, claiming she knew better than the pros. Directors got blindsided too. She'd nod along in pre-production meetings, playing the team player card with that megawatt smile, only to swoop in later with suggestions that sounded more like orders. Every time she dodged the fallout, her PR machine spinning it as passion while the wreckage piled up behind her. That 2022 Forbes clip ties it all together like a neon sign flashing, "Caught you." She's been pulling this stack for years, a masterclass in picking targets too weak or unknown to push back. Penn and Leighton had their own fame to lean on, so they survived her games, barely. But lesser-known actors, they didn't stand a chance. X threads are buzzing with theories, an extra from Green Lantern claiming Blake got her cut from a scene for stealing focus, a bit player on Savages saying she iced him out until he quit. No one called it out loud back then. Blake's star power and Ryan Reynolds' clout kept the lid on tight. She thrived in the shadows, crushing careers quietly, while the world crowned her Hollywood's sweetheart. Justin Baldoni was just the latest pawn in her chess match until he flipped the board and started screaming. Now people are connecting the dots, and the questions are piling up faster than Blake's PR team can dodge them. How many sets did she turn toxic before anyone blinked? How many directors swallowed their pride because she was too big to fire? Fans are digging like detectives, unearthing old interviews and crew gripes that paint her less as a team player.
And that's what Blake Lively says in a text message, that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift,
and more as a one-woman wrecking crew. That Forbes confession isn't just a viral gotcha, it's a skeleton key, unlocking a closet stuffed with stories she thought were buried. Justin's fight back has lit a match and the blaze is spreading. People aren't just asking what she did to him, they're wondering how many others she steamrolled into silence before someone finally noticed. The vibe's shifting hard. Where Blake once floated above the fray, all grace and glamour, she's now a magnet for suspicion. Every old co-star's vague, "it was a tough shoe" comment is getting a second look. Every director's creative differences excuse dissected. The internet's a courtroom, and the jury's not buying her old act anymore. That smirk she flashed while stepping on toes, it's not a game now, it's evidence. Justin might have been the spark, but this fire's been smoldering for years, and it's burning through her carefully built empire, one revelation at a time. How deep does this rabbit hole go? That's the mystery keeping everyone glued, and it's only getting messier. Then there's Ryan Reynolds, lurking in the shadows like a Deadpool twist no one saw coming. Insiders swear he's the real muscle here. Rumors say he rewrote It Ends With Us scenes Blake claimed as hers, flexing his A-list clout to strong-arm the production. When Justin pushed back, Ryan allegedly got his agency to drop him. Threats whispered over phone calls, not capes. Texts leaked to TMZ show Blake calling him my dragon, hinting he's her enforcer. Even Matthew Lawrence, a Boy Meets World alum, piped up on a 2024 podcast saying, Ryan's a control freak behind that goofy grin. Together, they turned Justin's movie into a power grab, humiliating him at every turn. But that wasn't the whole story, because Blake's next move would set the internet ablaze. Flash to March 2025, and the Oscar stage is buzzing like a live wire ready to snap. It's Hollywood's glitziest night, gold statues gleaming, champagne flowing, and Conan O'Brien at the helm, his sharp grin promising a roast to remember. The auditorium's packed with A-listers all decked out in sequins and smugness, but the real spotlight's on Blake Lively, front row and radiant in a couture gown that screams, I'm untouchable. She's been the talk of Tinsel Town.
That's, again, believed to be the other person, and that they are powerful advocates for her. And while it seems to be said like, I'm so lucky.
Her lawsuit with Justin Baldoni, a simmering scandal no one can shut up about. Conan knows it too. He's pacing the stage, cracking wise about stars with court dates bigger than their egos, and the crowd's already tittering. Everyone knows he's zeroing in on Blake, and the tension's thick enough to choke on. Then he lands the punchline. Legal docs flying like confetti at a divorce party, he quips, voice dripping with mischief, and the room erupts, half gas, half giggles. Blake's face freezes mid-smile like someone yanked the plug on her charm circuit. Cameras catch it all, her eyes narrowing, lips tightening, that dazzling glow dimming fast. For a split second, she's a deer in headlights, pinned under Conan's jab. It's too close, too raw, cutting straight to her messy fight with Justin. Seconds tick by, agonizingly slow. Then she's up, gown swishing like a storm cloud as she storms down the aisle. No wave, no fake laugh, just a power walk out the door, mid-broadcast, leaving an empty seat that screams louder than any acceptance speech. The audience freezes. A collective, did that just happen? Hanging in the air. Social media explodes before her heels hit the exit. X lights up with, Blake just bailed, and Conan ended her, as users race to post grainy phone vids of her retreat. Clips of the roast, Conan's smirk, that confetti line, rack up millions of views in hours. TikTok turning it into a meme fest with dramatic zooms on her vacant chair.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
Fans are feral. She's guilty as hell, one tweets, while another cackles. Queen of drama couldn't take the heat. Theories fly. Was she humiliated by the shade or bolting to dodge the 2022 Forbes confession now stabbing her in the back? That clip's viral again, her rug pull brag looping alongside Conan's zinger, and people swear she ran because it's all unraveling. Her PR team's radio silent, but the internet's a courtroom and the verdict's trending hard against her. Hollywood's jaws hit the floor and the night spirals into chaos. Presenters stumble over lines, their forced chuckles echoing awkwardly as the empty seat looms on every wide shot. Producers scramble, barking at camera crews to pan away, but it's too late. Blake exits the story now, not the awards. Backstage whispers leak fast. Some say she beeling for a car, tears streaking her mascara. Others claim she raged at a publicist in a hallway, voice bouncing off the walls. Was it shame, fury, or something bigger? Like fear those old words would bury her? Insiders buzz. She knew Conan's roast wasn't just a joke. It was a flare gun lighting up secrets she'd kill to keep dark. The crowd's A-listers swap glances, from Meryl Streep's raised brow to Zendaya's hushed.
Asking for the gag order and explaining how he's talking too much. He's threatening to post stuff on public sites. So what I think is,
this isn't the usual Oscars fluff, and they're rattled. The fallout shifts everything overnight. That empty chair's a symbol now, plastered across headlines. Blake's Oscars walkout, guilty or goated, and it's flipping the script on her golden image. Fans who cheered her "It Ends With Us" promo are doubting her victim act, while Justin supporters crow it's proof she's got skeletons piled high. X threads dissect every frame, her frozen face, Conan's knowing grin, the timing too perfect with her lawsuit deadline looming. Did he have inside dirt, or was it a lucky shot that struck gold? Either way, Blake's bolt turned a glitzy night into a scandal supernova, and the blast radius is growing. Hollywood's still reeling, and this moment's not fading. It's the crack that might just split her empire wide open. The industry's loyalty flipped overnight, and it was a sight to behold. At first, Team Blake ruled the roost like a well-oiled machine. Colleen Hoover, the It Ends With Us author who'd handed her book baby to Blake and Justin, was all in, gushing over Blake on Instagram with heart eyes, emojis, and "you're my hero" vibes. Honest, kind, supportive, she wrote in December 2024, plastering her stories with pics of them hugging at screenings. The cast followed suit, shunning Justin like he'd caught the plague. Unfollows hit his socials hard, with Jenny Slate and Brendan Sklenar leading the silent exodus. Sponsors bent over backwards too, caving to Blake's alleged premiere threats to banish Justin to the basement while she owned the red carpet. It was peak Blake supremacy. Her A-list glow and Ryan Reynolds' shadow had Hollywood locked down, no questions asked. Then that Forbes clip dropped like a wrecking ball, and the vibe shifted fast. People started digging, peeling back the layers of Blake's Golden Girl facade with a fervor that'd make a detective blush.
This looks good for Baldoni.
That 2022 confession, bragging about lying to directors and pulling rugs, wasn't just a viral nuisance anymore. It was a match lighting up years of whispers. Colleen, she went from cheerleader to ghost mode in a heartbeat. By early 2025, think January, right after Justin's lawsuits hit, she scrubbed Blake from her socials, deleting every You Go Girl post like she'd seen a poltergeist. No explanation, just a blank slate where Blake's face used to be. Insiders whisper she's backtracking hard, realizing she bet on the wrong horse when Justin's receipts started piling up. She'd praised him for years, called him a visionary for adapting her book, but now, crickets, it's a 180 that's got fans side-eyeing her every move. The cast retreat was just as telling. Those unfollows that stung Justin in August 2024, they've stopped. No more public snubs, just an eerie, awkward silence. Jenny Slate, who had dodged Baldoni questions on the press tour, hasn't posted a peep about the film since the lawsuits dropped. Brendan Sklenar, once cozy with Blake on the red carpet, is laying low too. No cryptic captions, no damage control. It's like they've all zipped it, waiting to see which way the wind blows. Even the crew's clamming up. Production assistants who leaked set T to TMZ are suddenly mute, leaving X to speculate. Are they scared or just tired of picking sides? The Forbes clip didn't just change the vibe, it flipped the whole damn table, and Team Blake's once solid army is scattering like leaves in a storm. The New York Times, caught in Justin's $650 M defamation crosshairs, is scrambling too. His December 2024 suit, claiming they cherry-picked text to prop up Blake's smear campaign narrative, hit like a gut punch. And by March 2025, it's gaining traction. Legal buffs on X say his evidence is stacking up. Unedited messages, witness affidavits, even that rooftop scene footage he dropped in January showing Blake laughing with him on set.
In Blake's first amended complaint, Blake changed what she alleges about what happened while filming the slow dance scene, now that the footage has been released for everyone to see.
The Times is digging in, swearing their reporting's legit, but the heat's on. Editors are dodging questions and their "we stand by our story" lines sounding shakier by the day. Blake's PR team's in overdrive, pumping out "she's the victim" press releases, but the narrative slipping through their fingers. Fans and execs alike are whispering in green rooms and group chats, maybe Justin's not the bad guy here, maybe he's the one who got played. It's a full-on Hollywood quake and the aftershocks are wild. Sponsors who bent to Blake's whims are hedging bets. Rumors say Sony's rethinking her next gig after a simple favor too got tangled in this mess. WME, the agency that dropped Justin post-premiere, is facing heat too. Did they jump the gun? Or were they strong-armed by Ryan's clout? The industry's loyalty isn't just flipped, it's fractured. A house of cards wobbling in the wind. Fans on TikTok are stitching Colleen's old praise with her new silence, calling it opportunist energy, while Baldoni stands flood X with "justice for Justin" hashtags. Blake's camp's fighting to hold the line, but the tide's turning, and what happened next would shock everyone again, proving this saga's got legs longer than a red carpet train. That $650 M lawsuit's the real cliffhanger, and Justin Baldoni's playing it like a high-stakes poker game with everything on the table. He's betting his whole career, claiming Blake's takeover of It Ends With Us didn't just hijack his film, it tanked his future in Hollywood. Filed in December 2024, his suit's a beast. $650 million for lost earnings, emotional distress, and a reputation he says she torched with her power grab. His ace? That 2022 Forbes interview where Blake brags about conning directors. A golden nugget his lawyers are waving like a victory flag. I wouldn't reveal that I need authorship, she said, grinning. Words that now read like a signed confession to Justin's team. He's arguing she's a serial fraudster, a predator who's been pulling these rugs for decades, and he's got the receipts. Texts, crew statements, even timestamps to prove she turned his dream into her sandbox. Legal buffs on X are calling it a slam dunk, and the chatter's deafening. Her own voice seals it, one post pointing out how her Forbes spill matches Justin's accusations beat for beat. Lying in auditions, rewriting scripts, sidelining directors. His filings, leaked in snippets to TMZ in January 2025, paint a damning picture. Blake allegedly fired his composer mid-score, swapped editors for her own picks, and locked him out of the final cut. Moves that echo her rug pull playbook to a T. Add those rooftop scene clips he dropped showing them laughing together. No harassment in sight, and his case looks tighter than a drum. Pundits say if he proves this pattern, he's not just walking away redeemed. He's pocketing a fortune that could dwarf his Jane the Virgin paydays. It's a David Vigashley Goliath twist, and the internet's rooting for the underdog to stick the landing. Blake's camp? They're sweating bullets, and you can smell the panic from here. If she loses, that A-list glow she's polished for years is toast. Crumbled into a pile of ash, no PR spin can resurrect. Sponsors are already twitchy. Her gym brand's ads got a lukewarm Q, 2025, and whispers say Netflix is side-eyeing her for that rumored rom-com after it ends with us flopped with critics. Studios might ghost her too. Execs don't love stars who drag legal baggage this messy. Think Amber Heard vibes but with better hair. That conscious activist shit she's peddled since Gossip Girl, all those women's rights speeches and eco-friendly photo ops, it's done. Exposed as a hollow shell if Justin's Froster label sticks. Her team's churning out denials, claiming his suit's a desperate cash grab. The cracks are showing. Publicists dodging calls, Ryan tight-lipped at Deadpool junkets. They're running out of runway fast. The wild cards, those rumors swirling like vultures. Hence, Blake's got more skeletons rattling in her closet, ready to spill any day. Ex-Luce swear there's a trove of unseen texts floating out there. Maybe ones where she gloats about steamrolling Justin or snags Ryan to flex muscle. A grainy March 2025 podcast clip from a disgruntled It Ends With Us script fuels the fire. Guy claims he's got footage of Blake barking orders on set, smirking while Justin fumes in the background. True or not, the buzz is electric. If those drop mid-trial, it's game over. Legal eagles say the case won't hit court till late 2025. Discovery's a slog, but the stakes are climbing daily. Every filing, every leak, jacks attention higher, and Blake's moves are dwindling to a flicker. She's cornered, and the clock's ticking. Loud. Could this be the end of her reign? That's the million-dollar question. Or $650 million if Justin gets his way. Blake's built an empire on charm, clout, and a knack for dodging bullets, but this lawsuit's a cannon aimed square at her crown. Win or lose, the damage is creeping. Fans are split, with Team Justin trending alongside Blake's a liar rants, while her stands cling to fading she's misunderstood thread. If Justin's evidence holds, he's not just rewriting his story, he's rewriting hers into a cautionary tale. Hollywood's watching, breath held as the trial looms like a storm cloud. One thing's sure, this isn't just a lawsuit, it's a reckoning, and the fallout could bury her legacy for good. So here we are, watching Blake Lively's empire crack under a truth she spilled herself. From manipulating co-stars to blindsiding Justin, she thought she danced through Hollywood unscathed, until that interview turned her swagger into a spotlight. Justin's fighting back, Ryan's in the mix, and the Oscars walkout's just the tip of this messy iceberg. Is Blake a calculated queen or a cornered star? Can she spin this, or is her past finally cashing the check her ego wrote? Drop your take below. I'm dying to hear if you're Team Justin or still rooting for Blake. This saga's far from over, and the next twist might just blow us all away.